Hello everyone. In today's lecture, we will learn about the laminar flow through a pipe. Okay. Now we can see in this figure number 4.1 that it is a laminar flow through the pipe. A pipe is there. There are two sections 1 and 2. So consider a pipe carrying the fluid through it and let pressure P1 and P2 be acting at sections 1 and 2 respectively, and let v be the mean velocity of the fluid. Okay, so now if we apply the Bernoulli's equation between sections 1 1 and 2 2, we will get the Bernoulli's equation as we know that P1 by rho g plus V1 square by 2g plus Z1 is equal to P2 by rho g plus V2 square by 2g plus Z2 plus HF. This will be the Bernoulli's equation at sections 1 and 2. Now, in this figure, we can see it is a pipe which is carrying the fluid in a horizontal direction. Therefore, the datum head, that is Z1 and Z2, will be equal. So, they will cut off on both the sides. And the mean velocity is V, which is equal to V1 is equal to V2. So, this V1 square by 2g will be equal to V2 square by 2g. So, this both the values will become 0. So, what we will get? We will get HF is equal to, remaining part will be HF is equal to P1 minus P2 by rho g, because in left hand side only P1 by rho g will be there. So, P1 by rho g will be equal to P2 by rho g plus HF. So, now transferring this term towards the left, it will be P1 minus P2 and the denominator is same, that is rho g. So, we will get the head loss of pressure head. Okay. Now that from this equation, we will get to know that the pressure gradient must exist in the direction of flow in order to overcome the resistance to the flow. In order to overcome the resistance of flow, the pressure gradient must be always in the direction of flow. And from this equation, we can say that the head loss is proportional to the pressure drop. Head loss is proportional to the pressure drop, that is P1 minus P2 over the length L of the pipe. Okay. Now we will consider a small element from this long pipe of radius r and length dx. See, from this pipe we have considered a small element with radius r and length of dx. Okay, a small element is used whose radius is r and length is dx. As the flow is steady and the cross section does not change, every particle of fluid moves without acceleration. Okay, flow is steady and also the cross section does not change. Therefore, every particle will move without acceleration. Therefore, the net forces which are acting on this elemental area in the direction of flow must be equal to 0. Due to this condition, the net forces acting on the elemental area will be equal to the 0. So what forces are acting on the elemental area? The forces acting on the elemental area are, first is the pressure forces acting on the end surfaces, and second one are the shear forces which are over the curved surface of the cylinder. There are two forces, pressure force and shear force. So let us consider P as a pressure intensity on the left face of the pipe. Okay, so this is the pressure force P at the left side of the pipe, and this is the therefore the pressure intensity on the right hand will be due to which means at the right hand, due to the pressure gradient existence, the pressure intensity on the right face will be P plus dabba P bar dabba x into dx. See, at the left side the pressure intensity will be P, but at the right side the pressure intensity will be P plus dabba P bar dabba x into dx. Why this value? Because the pressure gradient is existing. So the left side pressure will be P and on the right side the pressure will be P plus dabba P bar dabba x into dx. Now we know that the forces acting on the elemental area, the net force is equal to 0. So we know this pressure intensities. Therefore, what will be the pressure forces on left and right hand side? It will be P into pi r square, and on the left side, and on the right side it will be P plus dabba P bar dabba x into dx into pi r square. Okay. So as the shear stress, that is tau, will act on the complete periphery of the cylinder in the opposite direction of the fluid, the shear force will be given by tau into 2 pi r into dx. Okay. As we know that the summation of all the forces is equal to the 0 in x direction. Therefore, now this P into pi r square is acting towards right, so it will be positive, that is P into pi r square. Now P plus dabba P bar dabba x into dx into pi r square, this force is acting towards the right. It is present on the right hand side, and it is acting towards the left. Therefore, it will be negative, minus it will be subtracted, minus the shear forces acting in the opposite direction of the fluid flow. So it will be subtracted. We know that towards the right, the flow passing towards the right is positive, and the flow which is passing moving towards the left is negative. The flow which is passing towards the direction of the fluid flow, that flow force is considered as positive, and the force which is acting in the opposite direction of the fluid flow is considered as negative. So we will get this expression. Now simplifying this equation, we will get, see, P we can get common, P by P into pi r square we will get common. So we will get minus dabba P by dabba x into dx into pi r square minus tau into 2 pi r into dx, and 2 pi r square, if we get it common and we can from left side we will transfer it into right, it will be 0. So we will get this simplified equation, that is minus dabba P by dabba x into dx into pi r square minus tau into 2 pi r into dx is equal to 0. Now dividing the above equation by the volume of the cylindrical element, that is pi r square into dx, we will get, now if we divide this term by pi r square dx, we will get only minus dabba P by dabba x, minus by dividing pi r square into dx. Now pi r will get cancelled, dx will get cancelled. What will be remaining? 2 tau into divided by r is equal to 0. Now convert this equation, rearrange this equation in terms of tau. So we will get tau is equal to minus dabba P by dabba x into r by 2. Okay. Let this equation be 4.2. Now this 4.2 equation shows us that the shear stress, that is tau, varies linearly along the radius of the pipe, that is as the radius varies, along the radius it varies linearly, that is directly proportional. You can see at the center of the pipe r is equal to 0. Thus the shear stress is 0, and at the pipe wall R is equal to capital R. See, at the center R is equal to 0, and at the walls of the pipe R is equal to capital R. So the shear stress will be maximum at the pipe wall. So tau max, that is maximum shear stress, will be, the equation will be minus delta P by delta X into capital R by 2, because when small r is equal to capital R, the shear stress is maximum. So this equation can be written in the form of capital R, that will give the shear stress at the maximum. So if we see the shear stress diagram, we can see here at the center the R is equal to 0, and the shear stress will be maximum at the walls of the pipe. So here the shear stress is maximum, and it can be calculated by using this formula, minus delta P by delta X into capital R by 2. What does this negative sign in this equation indicates? It indicates that the pressure gradient, that is delta P by delta X, a decrease of fluid pressure is there in the direction of flow. In the direction of flow, pressure is decreasing. Okay, this sign indicates that a decrease of fluid pressure in the direction of flow. So the negative sign is present. Since the pipe is horizontal and uniform, the pressure drop is the only means available to compensate the resistance to the flow. The resistance of flow can be compensated by only by the pressure drop. So the potential and kinetic energies remain the same. So we can write this minus delta P by delta X is equal to P1 minus P2 by L is equal to rho g into HF by L. Okay, as we know that P, from this equation we know P1 minus P2 upon rho g is HF. So we can write this minus delta P by delta X is equal to P1 minus P2 by L. Therefore, we can write it as rho g into HF by L. Substituting this equation in equation number 4.2. Now substituting this value of delta P by delta X minus delta P by delta X in this tau formula, we will get as tau is equal to rho g into HF. Here R is present, therefore into R upon, here 2 is present, and into L. Okay, we will get the equation as this. Let this equation be 4.4. Now we will see the velocity distribution. What will be the velocity distribution? Okay, for this, the equation of shear stress, that is tau is equal to minus mu into du by dr. Here, for the velocity distribution, to obtain the velocity distribution across the section, the value of shear stress, that is tau is equal to plus mu into dv, dou v by dou y, is used, where we know that y is the distance from the pipe wall, that is y is equal to capital R minus small r. So if we distinguish this, differentiate this equation, we will get dy is equal to minus dr, where r is the radius which is constant. Okay, therefore tau is equal to minus mu into dou v into dou r. This negative sign indicates that As radius increases, the velocity will decrease. So substituting this equation, that is 4.5, in equation 4.2. Substituting that tau value in this equation, we will get minus mu into delta v by delta r is equal to minus delta p by delta x into r by 2. What we have done? We have equated the equation 4.5 and 4.2. So we will get delta v by delta r is equal to 1 by mu delta p by delta x into r by 2. Now for steady flow, we know that the pressure drop is only dependent on x and not on r. Thus integrating the equation 4.6, we will get the equation 4.7. So integrating with respect to r, we will get v is equal to 1 by 4 mu into delta p by delta x into r square plus c. But we know that small r is equal to capital R, because and velocity is 0 at the boundaries. So we can get the equation to calculate this constant value. We know that small r is equal to r and velocity is 0 at the boundaries. So velocity will be 0 minus 1 by 4 mu delta p by delta x into r square plus c will be there. So value of c will be minus 1 by 4 mu into delta p by delta x into r square. Now substituting this value in equation 4.7, substituting this value of c in this equation, we will get the equation as v is equal to 1 by 4 mu minus delta p by delta x into r square minus small r square. So at the center, we know that small r is equal to 0. So the maximum velocity will be at the center. Okay. And at the walls, r is equal to capital R. So r square minus r square will be 0. So at the walls, the velocity will be 0. The velocity is 0 at the boundaries of the pipe. In this equation, the mu, the delta p by delta x and r are constant. Thus, velocity varies with respect to r square and gives the equation of parabola. Thus, the velocity distribution is parabolic. See, the velocity distribution is parabolic. This is the velocity distribution. And this is shear stress distribution for the laminar flow. Now, from this figure, we can clearly say that velocity will be maximum at the axis of the pipe. Yeah, here. The velocity will be maximum at the axis of the pipe and it will be 0 at the boundaries of the pipe. Thus we can write, we will get the maximum velocity equation as 1 by 4 mu into minus delta p by delta x into r square, as at the center, at the axis of the pipe, small r is equal to 0. So we will get the equation for the velocity, maximum velocity at the axis of the pipe. Okay. Now we will see the relation between the maximum and average velocity. Now we know the 4.8 equation, that is v is equal to 1 by 4 mu minus delta p by delta x into r square minus small r square. Also we know that v max is equal to 1 by 4 mu minus delta p by delta x into r square. Combining this both equations, we will write as what we will get. See, from this equation, if we see this equation, 1 by 4 mu minus delta p by delta x, and from this equation, if we will remove r square common, we will get r square bracket 1 minus small r square upon capital R square. Okay, so in this equation we will get this value. We can substitute the value of 1 by 4 mu minus delta p by delta x into r square as V max. So we will get V is equal to V max into 1 minus small r by capital R whole bracket square. Clear how we will get this equation? We will get this equation by combining this 4.8 and 4.9. See, you can see clearly there are some common values here. This part is common. So if we remove this r square from the bracket, you can get 1 minus small r upon capital R square. Okay, so we will get this formula by combining the equations 4.8 and 4.9. Now, discharge through the pipe can be calculated by integrating the small discharge dq through the elemental area of thickness dr. We have considered a small elemental area. For that, if we consider a small discharge dq flowing through that elemental area, we can find out the discharge through the pipe. We know that dq is equal to velocity, that is v, at the radius r into elemental area, that is dA. So dq is equal to v into dA. Now we know the area, that is 2 pi r into dr. Also we know the value of v, that is 1 by 4 mu into minus delta p by delta x into v square minus r square. So we substitute the value of v from equation 4.8 and this part remains the same. Now discharge through pipe can be calculated by integrating the small discharge, that is dq. So integrating this small discharge dq, integrating both the sides, we will get q is equal to, they have just rearranged these terms. The constant part is pi by 2 mu into minus delta p by delta x. Okay, and we will integrate with 0 to r square minus small r square into d into r square, r into r dr. So q is equal to pi by 8 mu. If we integrate this, we will get as pi by 8 mu minus delta p by delta x into r raised to 4. Here, by integrating this equation, we will get this equation. So if diameter d is the diameter of the pipe, then we can write as pi by 128 mu into delta p by delta x into d by 4, because d is equal to 2r. So we can substitute the value of r as d by 2. So substituting the value of r as d by 2, we will get the equation of discharge through pipe in terms of d. So it will be q is equal to pi by 128 mu into minus delta p by delta x into d raised to 4. Thus mean velocity, that is v. We know that the formula for velocity is q by a. So we know the value of q, that is minus 1 by 8 mu minus delta p by delta x into r square. We know the value of q, we know the area. So substituting these values, we will get the mean velocity as 1 by 8 mu minus delta p by delta x into r square. If we write in terms of d, we will get 1 by 32 mu minus delta p by delta x into d square. Okay. Now if we compare the equations 4.9 and 4.11, 4.9 is my Vmax is equal to 1 by 4b minus del by p by del x into r square, and 4.11 is pi by 8 mu minus del by p by del x into r raised to 4. So if we compare the 4.9 with 4.13, if we compare the mean velocity v with the maximum velocity v max, we will get the equation as v is equal to v max by 2. Comparing the equations 4.9 and 4.13, comparing this mean velocity with the maximum velocity equation, we will get average velocity, that is mean velocity, is equal to v max upon 2. That is, when local velocity is equal to the mean velocity, we will get this value. V is equal to V max into 1 minus R by R raised to square is equal to V is equal to V max by 2. That is, we will get the value of small r is equal to 1 by root 2 into r. From this equation, we will get small r is equal to 1 by root 2 r. That is, mean velocity of flow occurs at a radial distance of 0.707 r from the center of the pipe. This equation tells us that mean velocity of flow occurs at a radial distance of 0.707 r from the center of the pipe. Now we will see the expression for the pressure drop for a given length L of a pipe. Now if we rearrange the equation 4.13, if we rearrange this equation of mean velocity, we will get minus in terms of pressure drop. So it will be minus del by p by del by x is equal to 32 mu into v by d square. See, we have used the mean velocity in terms of diameter, and we have calculated the equation in terms of converted the equation in terms of del by p by del x. So we will get minus del by p by del x is equal to 32 mu into v by d square. So what del by p by del x is pressure drop. Therefore, we can write this in terms of P1 minus P2 by L over the length of the pipe. So pressure drop over the length of the pipe, it can be written as P1 minus P2 by L. So the right part will be same. So the pressure drop P1 minus P2 is equal to 32 mu into V. This L that is at the denominator will go into numerator. So we will get this 32 mu into V into L by d square. Now we can convert the value, we can substitute the value of V in terms of Q. As now if we substitute the value of V in terms of Q, we will get P1 minus P2 is equal to 128 mu Q L by pi by 4 raised to pi by d raised to 4. So P1 minus P2 is equal to 128 mu into Q into L divided by pi into d raised to 4. This equation of pressure drop, that is P1 minus P2 is equal to either 32 mu V L by d square, or in terms of Q we can write as 128 mu Q L into pi d raised to 4. This equation is known as Hagen-Poiseuille equation, which is for the laminar flow in the pipe. Now also we know that HF is equal to P1 minus P2 by rho g. So we can substitute the value of P1 by P1 minus P2 as 32 mu into V into L by D square. So we will get this formula. Now 32 into mu into V into L by rho G into D square. Now we can substitute the value of rho G by, we know that mu by rho G is nothing but 1 by Re, Reynolds number. Reynolds number is equal to rho G by mu. So 64 by Re into Lv square by 2GD will be HF. So we can also write as 128 mu into Q into L by rho G into pi d raised to 4. But main is what this equation is made. A problem can come that derive the Hagen-Poiseuille equation for the laminar flow in pipes, and these formulas will be helpful during the calculation of during the numericals, solving the numericals. Okay, clear about this?